Here we go!
Welcome to the Nintendo Power Zone, guys. This is your boy NyceOne, and a few days ago I posted this image on various social media platforms, and I asked if anyone else was wondering if the power-up bands would function as amiibos. I then saw this picture was getting a lot of traction, particularly on Instagram, and I soon began to wonder if I even asked the right question. Could the power-up band even function as an amiibo? The more I thought about it, the more it started to eat away at me, so I decided to do some research, and these were my findings. First things first, I wondered if the power bands were going to use near-field communication, or NFC. If they are, then the question is instantly answered. Yes. Functionally, the Switch and the power bands could interface with one another, as the Nintendo Switch is already NFC capable with the technology being built right into the Joy-Cons, or into a Pro Controller if that's the method you use. As long as Universal or Nintendo program the bands with functionality for specific games, or if the bands are treated as character amiibo, i.e. the Mario band has the data of a Mario amiibo. But what if the power bands don't use NFC? What then? Would there still be a way to connect to the Nintendo Switch? How could I even know what tech the power bands support? Well, for that, I looked directly at Universal Studios' biggest competitor, Disney. Since 2013, Disney has implemented Magic Bands. Magic Bands can be used for a variety of things at Disney parks, including storing credit card information, Fast Pass, park entry for essentially replacing tickets, and even unlocking the door to your hotel room if you're staying on Disney property. It's not a stretch to imagine that the power-up bands are built on similar, if not the same technology, and that technology is RFID. RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification. It is a technology that uses radio signals to record the presence of an object. RFID requires two components, an RFID tag and an RFID reader. There are three types of frequency used by RFID: low frequency 125 to 135 kHz, high frequency 13.56 MHz, and ultra high frequency 868 to 930 MHz. Let's talk about the two components of RFID and how they are used. RFID tags are small transponders that will transmit identity information over a short distance. RFID readers read the data stored on RFID tags. RFID is mainly used for tracking inventory, but the tech has many other practical uses, such as tracking and identifying pets and making it so you can be reunited with a lost or stolen pet, car keys used to unlock and lock the doors as well as actually starting the car, timing sports. Tags will be embedded into a racer's shoe and will accurately measure the time it took them to cross checkpoints or the finish line. So as I stated earlier, Disney uses the tech in its Magic Band for a variety of purposes. It is feasible that Universal Studios has seen how Disney has utilized this technology to simplify and enhance the guest experience and decided to put their own spin on it. Now let's talk about the amiibo aspect. Since November 21st of 2014, Nintendo has been selling amiibo, little figurines based on Nintendo IP embedded with NFC chips in their bases. The data stored in the chips is based on specific characters, so if you have a Mario amiibo, when you scan a Mario figure into an amiibo compatible game like Super Smash Bros., then Mario should appear on the screen. Now, NFC functions slightly different from RFID, so let's talk about that for a bit. NFC is actually a subset of RFID, but is more specialized and does not have the same range as RFID. The range for NFC is usually about 4 inches. The radio frequency utilized by NFC is 13.56 MHz. There are two types of NFC, passive and active. Passive NFC can send information to other NFC devices without the need for a power source of their own. However, they don't process any information sent from other sources and can't connect to other passive components. Active NFC devices are able to both send and receive data and can communicate with each other as well as with passive devices. Amiibo function as active devices as they can both read and write data. NFC has become very popular in society due to its many practical uses. Storing credit and debit information, which can be utilized by apps like Apple Pay, Google Play, and Samsung Pay. Data sharing between phones. You can share contact information, photos, and documents. And finally, gaming. Products like Skylanders, Disney Infinity, and Amiibo use NFC that allow gamers to play as certain characters or vehicles. Now, you may have noticed that I said NFC was a subset of RFID. The difference being that RFID is read-only, whereas NFC can both read and write data, as I described earlier. So now that we know what these technologies are and how they are used, the question becomes, are they compatible? Meaning, If the power-up bands utilize RFID like Disney's Magic Bands, can they be used as an amiibo on the Nintendo Switch, which uses NFC? The answer is a bit tricky because it's based on the radio frequency that the RFID is using, since NFC is only capable of communicating at 13.56 MHz, which is considered high frequency. And remember, I stated earlier that there are 3 frequencies that can be utilized by RFID, but if they are utilizing the same high frequency of 13.56 MHz, then some NFC-enabled devices are able to read passive RFID tags. So theoretically, a power-up band could function as an amiibo. One more thing I want to make note of are both Shigeru Miyamoto and Tom Williams, the chairman and CEO of Universal Parks & Resorts, have stated that they foresee Super Nintendo World having some compatibility with the Nintendo Switch, with Miyamoto specifically stating, "A lot of people who are mothers and fathers today are from a generation that grew up playing Super Mario, and they are now playing products like Nintendo Labo together with their own children. There are a lot of families like this, not just in Japan, but also around the world. When such family visit these theme parks to experience Nintendo's worlds, they have been carefully crafted, and to interact with our characters, I think we can expect to see synergy with our dedicated video game platform business." So that's essentially straight out of the horse's mouth that they have actively been seeking to find ways to integrate the Nintendo Switch and other Nintendo hardware to Super Nintendo World. Could Amiibo be the bridge to that? I want to close this video out by saying a couple more things about the compatibility. If Universal Studios Japan and Nintendo just straight up decide to use NFC, then I would highly expect the power bands to have Amiibo functionality. And last but not least, Disney's Magic Bands had some functionality with Disney Infinity, so add even more fuel to the fire that Super Nintendo World's power bands can have some Amiibo functionality. Guys, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. It's something we've never done before, something, majorly speculative, but I thought this was a fun video to do, just seeing how much attention that Instagram post got. I'm gonna wrap this video up, but before I let you go, I gotta hit you up with the social media links. You can hit me up on Twitter at NyceOne983. You can email me at NyceOne983@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Nintendo Power Zone. If you are a fan of the Nintendo Power Zone podcast, you can always download new episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music, stream new episodes on Stitcher Radio and Spotify. But if you want to watch the live version of the show, you gotta catch us right here on YouTube, youtube.com/Nintendo Power Zone. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to stay fresh. Deuces!